Hey everybody, and welcome back to another great day for Pulsechain. And do you like green? That is the question. Do you like green? And of course, we're talking about the color green, and not the other green. I don't know what that is, but the color green. We're talking about green, green, green. And of course, we've had a good day around the office. Stock market, the general crypto market, Pulsechain starting to rise up too. So we love green. So we're going to talk about that. Hope you guys are having a good time. We've got only one project update today. But yeah, if you want to get into our Discord, the link is in the video description. Join up because the reality is that we talk about a lot of alpha stuff that's not in the live show in the Discord. So definitely get in there if you want to talk about cool things like Famous and other projects with some of the insights around that. So definitely get in on that. Link is in the video description. Let's see who's in the house. Who has started here? In fact, I'm just waiting for new comments to start my studio. Oh, we got some Genuine in there for 8-month member. High Green Day, love green, says Genuine there. A big shout out, Genuine. Is a member for 8 months, big supporter. Thank you so much, Jenny. And of course, Jenny there is also one of our moderators in the Discord as well. So if you like to talk to Jenny in the Discord, she's helped out so many people on the crypto helpline. We have a crypto helpline. I think we're the only one out there in this community. So they have a community helpline that people get in and help people. And Jenny has been a real leader in that space. So big shout out to Jenny and thanks for the support. Yeah, Green Day, we love it. Let's see who else is in the house. We got a few other people. We got StakeX. We love some Superman, says StakeX. Very good. We got Archie as well. Good to see Archie. Hi all. Welcome to the chat, Archie. We got Sandy Beach, a big influencer on X there. Hello, Hex Token and everybody. Good to see you, Sandy Beach. And I think Sandy Beach just put out her health and fitness post as well on X, the platform. So that's kind of cool. I think if we say X platform, people understand what we're saying. If you just say if you just say X, people just think, yeah, why is he saying the letter X for? But if you say, I guess, X platform, maybe like that, or X social platform, that makes a lot more sense. We got Life Beneath in the house there. Hello, how are you today? Very good, of course. We got the Ultimate Strategy Hex, EHEX, PLSX, and Center for the 100%. We read this out every day because it really is the golden strategy of Richard Hart, and we're big backers of this because we think it's going to be amazing. So and you're nice and early as well, right? You're nice and early on this, so it's still pretty good. We're only on day 139, right? 139. So it's still very early on the old Pulsechain. Who else has jumped in here? We got Drippy. Good to see you, Drippy. And Yo Superman. I love all the greens. Yeah, we like the greens. Hex we had as well, very much so. Yeah, let's keep this green thing going. Was it ready to Pumptober? Yeah, October's really looking good, folks. We're going to be talking about that as well. We talked about yesterday. The whole live stream was on liquid loans launching in October. That's been confirmed by the chief executive, Crypto Crazy. If you haven't checked it out, check out yesterday's show. We checked out Liquid Loans and Barista there from Magic Carpet Ride 369, both projects on the Liquid Loan fork of Liquidity, bringing our second stablecoin to Pulsechain as well, USDL, and it's going to be a big deal. Really, really fun. And they're going to have a liquidity pool bonus for 42 days. So you definitely want to pick up some of those loan token bonuses in liquidity. Looking really, really good. We got Jim Horton. Hey, it's been a while, Jim. Good to see you. Superman, love the PH universe. Do you know what the requirements were to receive the PHEX airdrop for PHEX? All I know is that you have to go on the Fatty site and you can claim, I think, your airdrops on there. So if you go on there, Jim, you should see whether you've got any airdrops on there. I know they had sacrifices. They've been giving away some stuff to different communities, whether you're in Pulsechain or Internet Money, depending on what they were doing. I think the PHEX, they had quite a bit of drops like that. So PHEX being the forward balancer. But I think if you log on to the Fatty, you can actually see what your bonuses are due. So I know there's quite a few people in the chat who have claimed quite a bit, and they may be able to add a bit more insights into that. Adam is in house there. Always a pleasure to be here. Best crew in crypto. That's true, Adam. I like where you're heading with that. What else there we got? Jim says, I joined your Discord yesterday. Awesome, Jim. Well done on that one. Big shout out to Jim there. Joining the Discord yesterday. Welcome. Now, who else is in the house? We got Humberto as well. Yo, cheers, Superman and RH family. Yeah, Jim, if you're in the Discord, get involved. Get involved. We love people getting involved on the Discord. It really is about the community. I cannot understate that enough. And I'm sure if you talk to any of the moderators, community members in the Discord, you will realize that it really is about the community. The only two things I really end up doing myself on the Discord is putting posts back in the right chats. We've got six different chat groups. One of those, of course, is the crypto helpline. The only thing I really end up doing every day is putting the comments in the right chat. That's about it. So it really is a pretty free place to do things and talk crypto, non-crypto, and some people even playing games in there. So that's kind of cool. What else do we got there? Steve Wright is in the house there. Superman, your information, it's been so helpful. Steve Wright, Santa Barbara. Hey, thanks for that, Steve. That's, you know, if that's the info I can flow, that's kind of cool. We are documenting Pulsechain on this channel. On Hex Token channel, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain YouTube to over 10,000 subscribers. So we are trying to do our best in that as well. So we do cover most of the projects that are launching on Pulsechain. Obviously, there's a few really high risk or suspect projects we don't cover, but I am aware of a lot of them. I just don't cover them. But we do cover most of them, right? We got Light Scout in the house there. Some people can see a Light Scout. Big shout out. Brazology as well. No one loves the daily payout more than me. Oh, that hit right in the heart there, Briz. That hit right. Is the heart over here? I'm not sure. That was really took me back there, Briz. You made me all flustered now. I'm pretty sure I like it a lot. I'm sure. I don't want to get into controversy, so I better move on. What else do we got? Hexavator says Pulsechain for epic gains. Absolutely, Hexavator, and we're still early. All right. You're on the wrong channel, Humberto. You're on the wrong channel. This is Hex Token Superman Crypto, not Somi's tweet. You can go and follow Somi over there. I'm talking about ETFs myself today. So stop front running my stories. What else we got going? Let's go. Let's get into it, folks. Welcome, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and we're going to get into it. So here we go on the stock market news. So we've got the S&P 500 rides tech higher as yields pause rally ahead of Powell and inflation data, obviously on Friday there. So S&P 500 has had a nice good day in the office, which is green all around, right? Do you like green? We do like green. And the stock market is green, so it's good to see. We've had NASDAQ up 0.8% there. It's at 13,200. The S&P up 0.6% at 4,300. And the Dow, with all the industrials in it, is up, just over 0.3% there at 32,666. So looking good there on the stock market today. And of course, we'll take that, right? So that is a Thursday close for the stock market. Let's have a look at the US dollar. Is down slightly. It is down about 0.5% at 105.85 on the index versus the trading partners there. Let's have a quick look at the commodities. Oil, of course, has been rising, right? This is one of the things that may push up the inflation later on. Obviously, not may, it will push up the inflation. And that is the West Texas oil and Brent oil there, sitting around $92, $93. So they're pretty much sort of mixed today. Brent oil is down about 1.3% at $93, but they've been pretty elevated. And of course, we know that that's due to, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and that pulling back the barrels per day by 1.3 million. OPEC, in there too. And of course, that's really due to poor US leadership there. That people are having to pay the price in the pump, right? So that's pretty much it. We got gold at the moment, $882 on gold, and that is slowly slipping. We're sitting about $950 for quite a bit of time there. That has moved down to $882, so slowly slipping there. I don't know if that's moving sideways there, Brennan. I don't know if Brennan's watching, but definitely is slipping there. We have a look at the chart, we can see that gold's been slipping down here. I mean, look, since August there, it's been slipping down, being quite volatile, but we are at the bottom of the range now. We've got silver at $22.83, and pretty likewise at the moment. You can see the bottom of the range there over the last 6 months. So that's pretty much those commodities. We've got a little bit of news here around the tech. So big tech rebounds as Treasury yields pause, rally ahead of Powell's speech and inflation data. Big tech, including Alphabet and Meta platforms, helped the broader market rebound from its recent malaise, and US Treasury yields eased from recent highs, right? So Treasury yields have been very high, 10-year rates really high. Was it 4.63%, somewhere in that ballpark? Fed Chair Jerome Powell is set to deliver a speech at the town hall meeting with educators. So he's the Fed Chair. The chief will be fielding questions from the audience. It'll be pretty interesting, especially with the recent inflation data coming out and confidence and all that sort of stuff that we've talked about over the last week or so, with investors eager to see whether he may walk back his hawkish comments. And that would be pretty cool, right? So we'll see. This weekend could be very green indeed. Let's see what he says about his hawkish comments there. And of course, that consumer confidence, probably the best, pullback there. Remember, we did see inflation the last month was at 3.7, right? So it was up from 3.3 to 3.7. We'll see how that goes. Powell's remarks come a day ahead of key inflation data expected to show the core inflation remained steady last month. I suspect that will stay the case and continue to slow in the 12 months through to August, which would be good news for that. But of course, we know that oil is going to be, a problem. All right, so that's kind of cool for the news. Let's see how long away we've got until the Fed meeting. So the Fed meeting is 4 weeks and 5 days and 18 hours away. But of course, we've got the Fed chair, I think, tomorrow. So the 1st of November there, 2 p.m. Eastern time, that's where it's going to be. What's the market thinking? The market's thinking that 77.4% of the market thinks at the moment we're going to have a no change in the federal funds rate. In other words, still stay at 5.5%. Remember, last month they had a pause. And of course, only 22% of the market thinks we're going to have a 25 basis point rate hike to 5.75. So it's pretty much in play there at the moment. Now, the last couple of months, last 3 months, the M2 supply has been increasing. So that's off the bottom. So that's probably going to be generally good. But a lot of people miss is that even though the M2 supply increases, which is good for assets and risk on, the fact is previously we were under a low interest rate environment, relatively speaking, and now we're moving into a high interest rate environment, which means that people don't have to take on so much risk to earn a good return. They can just put it into a fixed interest type of product offerings. So some of that will obviously make it into riskier assets, but people are missing that we were coming off a very low interest rate cycle for a very extended time for many years. And so that is where money can flow into now, into more secure, fixed stuff, especially for those pundits that think maybe the stock market's overheated, for example. That is pretty much it where we are there on the stock market. So good news, good green news there. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the Fed chair. Now let's move to crypto. Crypto's having some really good moves. Look at this, Bitcoin back at 27,037. Yes, very nice. We like the green. See what I mean? Stock market green, crypto market's green. We like green. And do you like green? That's the question of the video. We're up 2.7% there on the day, which is a pretty nice little day there. Man, you guys know what bull markets are like. You get double-digit numbers on these. Pretty neat. But Ethereum there at 1653, up 3.56%. And that's the one we were going to be looking at, right? So we've been making this commentary the same day, in and out, right? BTC's a big deals, the ETF for next year, probably early Q1. And of course, that's going to be question mark though, because the SEC is a little bit fickle around that. And we just saw them coming off the committee hearings in the United States, getting bashed for their approach. And of course, we've also got the halvening coming up about the 17th of April next year. And typically we'll probably ride up into that and then ride out the other side and then accelerate, right? So after April, that could be very bullish for 24, right? 2024, particularly the second half. But typically we'll just keep riding into that. So it could be pretty nice. We might see some uplift. October really does look like it could be very good for crypto as it just starts to eke up there on the Bitcoin. And of course, but more importantly is the Ethereum, right? Ethereum, we've got two big things on the list. We've got the ETF. We're going to talk about that now because that's actually upon us already, potentially next week. And of course, we've also got proto-dank sharding, which is probably going to be early next year now, with possibly at the earliest testing at the end of this year. And that's really beneficial to second layers like Optimism and Atrium there. So we'll see. But anyway, Ethereum up pretty nice at the moment. We can see it's pretty much green across the board. A couple of outstanders there. We've got Lido there up 8.8%. To $1.60, and we got ICP there up 5% to $3. Internet, and we got Arbitrum there at 8.3% there. So we've got a few high movers there. Even Aave is actually up there too, 8.5%, $65. So some nice little moves happening across the board there. almost some double digits there on the leaders. So that's pretty cool. Let's check out some of the Bitcoin chart here. As you guys know, we actually got a death cross the other day. It sounds bad when I say it. We got a death cross, and what day was that again? Let me have a look here. It was on the 24th. So we got a death cross right here, and we sort of said, oh, will this be a fake out, right? Will this be a fake out, or will this be a serious downturn in the price, right? And so far, it's kind of looking like it might be a fake out as we lead it into October out of September. And yeah, we've got this is very small gap in here, and we had a big nice pump here today, 27. And of course, we're going to talk about the ETFs for Ethereum, which is kind of bullish. This is Bitcoin, of course, but looking pretty good. Let's have a look at the monthly because we're about to close the month, right? So let's have a look at the monthly chart and have a look at that. I might hide the overlays. So that is the monthly chart, and we've got a green monthly chart. So not so bad. September makes August look like a really bad month, right? And so was July. Or July and August for Bitcoin weren't so hot. But yeah, September's not turned out to be so doom and gloom as many were commentating on. So yeah, let's see if we can get a nice green October. Everything does look kind of good for it at the moment. So yeah, let us see. That's 29th September here, so 28th in the Northern Hemisphere, and we're pretty close to closing this month candle out there. Not bad. So that is pretty much that. We're also above the 200 rolling EMA here as well. Sorry, the 50 EMA, I should say, is in yellow here. So we're above the 50 EMA here for the Bitcoin. So that's pretty much it on that. We're going to leave that and get into some of the news. We've got Ethereum futures ETFs could start trading next week. Yes, sir. Bring it on, says Christian. Bring it on. An impending U.S. government shutdown. And this is the downside, right? This is the downside stuff. It's the U.S. government shutdown. I can't forget to mention that. I have mentioned it a couple of times in the last week. An impending U.S. government shutdown may accelerate the launch of ETH futures ETFs. Analysts suggest. So we'll see. But obviously, the shutdown is a negative. So we don't have all green, but mostly green because that's on the 1st of October. And of course, that could affect 800,000 workers in the US, mostly part of the deep state. So do we feel too boo? There's a lot of hardworking people in that group. Don't get me wrong. It's probably we'll just talk about the executive class, shall we? Some of them, some of those lawyers and stuff like that. That's what we're really talking about, right? So anyway, we're going to move down here. We've got ETH future exchange traded funds, ETFs, could start trading for the first time in the United States as early as next week, according to Bloomberg analysts. On September 28th, Bloomberg intelligence analyst Jamie Safe, look at that name. I'm not going to say that name. Said in an X post that it was looking like the SEC is going to let a bunch of Ethereum future ETFs go next week potentially. So go live from the SEC. So that's good news. His comments were in response to a fellow ETF analyst, Eric Balak-Akunas. Where do they get these names from? Who said he was hearing that the U.S. Securities Commission wanted to accelerate the launch of Ether future ETFs. They wanted off their plate before the shutdown, so before the 1st of October, potentially. He said, adding that he's heard various filers update their documents by Friday afternoon. So there's people that have filed for their ETFs and updated their documents, so they can start trading as early as Tuesday next week. So that is the talk there. Now I do have a list of the filers. Where's my filing list gone? I'm pretty sure I have. There it is. We've got a list of the filers here, and we're going to pull it up. That's the file. I don't know what happened to that because I had that listed up somewhere else. Where did I put that? Oh, maybe I put it over here. Oh, there it is over there. So I'm opening that up twice here. So I have a list of the filers. These are all the different Ethereum ETF filers here. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure how old this is. A couple of days maybe. But these are all awaiting approval. All these ETFs for Ethereum. So in the US, to trade in the US for the first time. So we've got Ether Strategy ETF, Bitwise, Roundhill, Ethereum Strategy, Short Ether Strategy, Grayscale. You guys know Grayscale, right? Drexion, Bitcoin, and Ether Strategy. Lots of this. Valkyrie there, Bitcoin one there, Kali Ethereum. So there's quite a lot in the limits there. And of course, that is what they're talking about, all these different ETFs starting up. So a whole wave of potential ETF offerings, attracting a whole ton more money into the Ethereum ecosystem, which is bullish for crypto generally, right? So that's kind of cool. Here is looking like SEC is, this is the analyst here, James, looking like SEC is going to let a bunch of Ethereum future ETFs go next week potentially. And of course, here's the fellow analyst here. Here in the SEC wants to accelerate the launch of ETH futures because they want to get off their plate. So they asked the filers to update their documents for Friday. No small task to jam into 48 hours, especially for indie users, so they can get off Monday and Tuesday and trade Tuesday. That's how quickly. So get them this Friday, and then get approved Monday and then trade Tuesday. That's how rapid this is going to happen. So keep your hat on. That's going to get pretty hectic. The US government expected shutdown at 12 o'clock ET on October the 1st if Congress, there's a big if there, right? So if Congress, it does look like that at this stage, Congress fails to agree on or provide funding for the new fiscal year, which is expected to impact the country's financial regulators among federal agencies there. Neither specified the sources for this latest update on the long list of crypto ETFs in the queue, which I've showed you there. That's a big long list there. And of course, there are 15 future ETFs from 9 issuers currently awaiting approval, according to analysts on September 27 note. And once again, that's the list there. Companies proposing ETH futures for hybrid ETF products include Van Eyck, ProShares, Grayscale, Volatility Shares, Bitwise, Direxion, and Roundhill there. And of course, that is the list here, right here. So we expect pure Ethereum ETFs to start trading the following week, thanks to Volatility Shares actions. So that's kind of cool. What else are we going to say about that? The analysts give Ether futures ETFs a 90% chance of launching in October. So even if it doesn't happen next week, I guess that's October launch there. With Valkyrie's Bitcoin futures product poised to become the first to hold Ether exposure on October the 3rd. So we could have potentially that product operating that quickly. However, we don't expect all of them to launch. And as you guys can see, they've probably got different launch approval times. Yep. Causing and we don't expect them all to launch. In August, Cointelegraph reported that the Ether futures ETFs may be approved in October, causing an 11% spike in the Ethereum prices. So if you got some Ethereum, this could be bullish for you. If you haven't, maybe you could grab some. I know it's not financial advice. ETH prices have only gained 1% on the day and hovering just over 1,600 at the time of writing. Of course, we looked at that just a little before. However, crypto future products aren't as hotly anticipated as their spot-based alternatives, right? So the crypto future products aren't as hotly anticipated as their spot-based alternatives. They have already been Bitcoin future ETFs in the US since 2021. So maybe not get too over the top, but certainly bullish for the industry. So let's move on into some other stuff here around this. We've got a bit more detail about the Van Eyck one there. So this is Valkyrie, gets approval to start buying ETF futures for its existing Bitcoin ETF. The fund's new strategy to combine ETH and Bitcoin will be effective October the 3rd. So it looks like they're going to be first off the bat there. You can see them there. They rang the bell in September. Asset manager Valkyrie started buying ETH futures contracts after getting approval to convert its existing Bitcoin futures exchange traded fund to a 2-for-1 investment vehicle. Today, the Valkyrie Bitcoin Strategy ETF began adding exposure to Ethereum futures contracts, making it the first US ETF to provide exposure to ETH and Bitcoin futures contracts under one wrapper. So that was good news. Valkyrie was the first to get approval for ETH futures ETF, among other firms, as it supplemented its prospectus and updated risk exposures related to ETH futures. So they were in fast with that one. The fund's new strategy to combine both ETH and Bitcoin futures contract into one ETF will be formally effective on October 3rd, and the name will be updated to Valkyrie Bitcoin and ETH strategy. And we saw that on the list of applicants, right, when we saw that. While the ticker will remain BTF, the fund will join other entities that filed to start ETH futures. And of course, we've gone through all that list too. That brings us to our final one here. Major TradeFi player Van Eyck released Ethereum futures and off and away there. So that's going pretty cool. Van Eyck, now this is the big deal. This is big money, asset companies. 77 billion assets under management, is preparing to roll out its Ethereum futures. So big deal there, and will attract a lot more capital into the crypto space. So it's kind of cool. So we've got the M2 monetary supply going up, even though interest rates are high, and a lot of that money can drift into fixed interest. We've still got a lot of money that can flow in to crypto, right, through these vehicles. So that's kind of neat. ETF will be listed on the Chicago's Board of Options Exchange, and of course, we'll be joining the asset management managers' other future ETF product, the Van Bitcoin strategy. The move comes as many TradeFi players have filed applications with the US Securities and Exchange for their futures-based ETF. So some pretty cool news there as well. So overall, looking good for October. Next week in particular could be quite a nice green week as well. So stock market looking green. Next week looking green. If the Jerome Powell comes out green, we'll see. The only negative potentially is a US government shutdown, but maybe the market ignores it and moves on because it's maybe it just sees it as a limited exposure there. All right, so that brings us into Pulsechain. Pulsechain green too. Do you like green? Yes, we do. Pulsechain is green as well. Quadruple 0442 up 4.29% on Pulse. We're 44% of the sacrifice price at the moment, and about over two times the wild price there. So holding up pretty well as Pulse, especially after almost 8.5 weeks ago, the SEC Black Swan event, and the market's kind of had time to absorb that now. So looking good. We've got Pulsechain at the moment at quadruple 0116, up 5.78%. So very nice. And I think this is going to perform very well incrementally at some stage in the future. So it's going to be really exciting to see Pulsechain do the whiplash back. One Pulse at the moment, we get 3.82 Pulsechain. So that's just slowly drifting down. If you guys have noticed, we're at closer to 4 before. We're at 3.82. And we're still super cheap, right, compared to sacrifice price, only 11.6%. So, and about half of the whale price. So super cheap on Pulsechain. But Pulsechain buy and burn keeps on burning away and buying and burning and more buying and burning again. Okay, enough jokes aside there. We got 455.2 billion Pulsechain burned, and this is out of the public supply, essentially, because we consider the OA sort of inactive. And so therefore, we're at 2.2% of the public supply has been bought and burned. And of course, everything trading on Pulsechain or through Pulsechain buys and burns to different degrees. So very, very cool on that front. Incentive token there is at $1.11, up 2.77%. The ratio is still sliding a bit though. 25,150 pulse per one incentive token. We got well over 12 million incentive tokens in existence, and the buy and burn through the TRH GameFi protocol from Jacob and the BNB Pulse Pot team is at 94,521. Hex at the moment, PHEX had a reasonable day, up 4.44% at 0083, so 83 hundredth of a penny. Ethereum there back up at 0034, 34 hundredth of a penny. The combined price of PHEX and EHEX is 1.18 cents. And of course, one PHEX will get you 189 pulse at the moment, and one PHEX will get you 2.45 EHEX at the moment. So Hex on Ethereum. So that is pretty much the numbers there. Let's go have a look. That is the results, of course, for day 139, essentially. And of course, we're going to have a quick look at the charts. This is our chart here. We've got a Bollinger Band overlay, and we've got a nice little bounce back here. We're in the top of the Bollinger Band, over the 50% mark, looking really good. And we've got a nice green candle today, a low of 4192, a high of 4426 with 4 zeros in front of it, of course. So that is the market there, looking not too bad. And of course, as you guys know, a really key market for me would be getting over to 5,000, and a very strong market would be getting over 5,600. That's kind of the next zone to get into and get consolidated. We do have higher lows in here, particularly the latest low is much higher. So that's good news at 4,000. We're at 4,420. So that's kind of cool. The RSI has got plenty of room to move. We're only at 53 on the RSI. So looking pretty good there on the daily. Let's go to Pulsechain. Pulsechain, pretty similar story now that it's starting to rise up there. Nice higher low. And but we've still got more work to be done. We've got to get over this 1,300 mark here. That is where we've got to get to, over to 1,300. So we keep watching that. This has got the biggest whip bash, though, if you think about it, because if you look at all the way back to sacrifice price, this is the medium sacrifice price, of course, then, 758% gain just sitting there. If you're willing to wait and you believe in Pulsechain as we do, and you see all the awesome stuff coming down the line, then it's just a waiting game. Would you wait to put your money in a bank account and to earn 2% or 5% or whatever it is these days? Or would you just wait for a 758% gain? I don't know. That's a good question, right? Do you like green? That's the question of the day. All right, so that's kind of sitting there at the moment. We've got incentive token is there at the moment. It's $1.11. And let's have a look at the ratio, though. The ratio at the moment is at 25,145. So we're we're actually slightly below where we were on the 17th of 18th after we had that little recovery, back up to 26,500. We're now down to 25,145. And that brings us to Pulsechain to have a look at the farms. That incentive token is being produced by the farms here. And of course, we can see that the Pulsechain Pulse farm there is still earning 10.2%. Pretty good, right? And of course, the Hex Pulse there is earning 14%, even better, right? So if you like that, that's looking pretty good. The Bridgeton stable coins is what you want to attract into Pulsechain. Don't forget, we've got the Bridgeton ones here. So we've got DAI, we've got USDC and USD Tether, and of course, we've got wrapped ETH in there as well from Ethereum. And they're giving at the moment 62% around to that for the stable coins and 48% for the wrapped ETH. So still very attractive farming APRs in them. The other thing I was going to say, they've been held up for a pretty good amount of time because we're on day 139 finishing. So it's pretty good. It's day 139. Yeah, day 139. And that's pretty good, right? The other thing I was going to say is that we've got these stable coins in, right? They add a lot of value to Pulsechain, and we price things in US dollars and things like that. The other thing, of course, is that crypto overall, the market cap for stable coins is around 12%. So it's about $130 billion, somewhere in that ballpark. And so having stable coins on Pulsechain is very important, but we're going to have our own stable coins, which is really cool. Stable coins that can't be turned off. That's pretty useful, right? So we've got Coast, of course, DST. And of course, that just hit the $1 million mark yesterday, right? So it's now just continuing to climb using the Coast stablecoin. It's a fiat on-ramp direct to Pulsechain, and 50 countries in the world now accessible to that. The other thing, of course, we've got liquid loans coming in October. That's confirmed launch, and that's going to bring us USDL. And we've got Power City Earn Protocol coming with PXDC. Both those two stablecoins are internally generated, which is beautiful, right? So there's no even fiat on-ramp thing. That's just internally generated stablecoins. And of course, that we're looking for that to balloon, right? We're looking at to take both Pulsechain and Pulsechain off the market, issue out these new stablecoins, and then further pump the system, further inflate the system, right? In terms of value. So it's very nice. Do you like green? I like green, and I'm pumped about that because I think it's going to be really important. Now, if the big users out there on Pulsechain and the sacrifice or purchases of holders of those are out there, these are offering very good products for them to leverage and all sorts of different strategies that they can do. So really looking for the big users on the protocol in the ecosystem to use those protocols and, of course, flood the market with stable coins. And that'd be fantastic. So we'll keep a lookout for that as well. So that is pretty much the markets there. Obviously, there's really good, if you go to the info tab and you look for the pools, you'll be able to find an alternative as opposed to the farms. You can provide liquidity in the pools and have different APRs, right? Some pools are turning over a lot of fees and earning pretty nice APRs on as well. It's not popping up for me at the moment. As you guys know, very rarely does it pop up for me when I'm doing my live stream for some reason. I think it's just trying to get me. All right, so we got a V2 on here. And see where V2 pops up there. So V2, we've got the pools in here. I think we might have, let's click the pool tab. Is that going to show up? No, it does it every time I try to do it. All right, not every time, but most times. All right, then we'll jump away from there, and we're going to get into PX. PX at the moment is looking pretty good too, with high lows along here as well. It hasn't really been aggressive though, like this has been kind of muted in here. But we still got a reasonably nice structure in here, and we're in the top 15% of the Bollinger Bands as well. The price is at 83/100th of a penny. Really, we want to get over 93/100th of a penny and stay over. And hey, we could start to move higher once we get back over that cent mark, right? That psychological game will change, and we can get more aggressive there. The RSI too, heaps of room to move. Heaps of room to move in the RSI. Just need that momentum and to change around, which does look like we're getting a lot of catalysts for that. EHEX at the moment is at 34/100th of a penny. And nice little green day yesterday after being pretty muted on EHEX as well. And of course, this is the Bridgeton EHEX on Pulsechain. So it's still paired with Pulse there. So that's kind of the highlights there for the markets for Richard Hart tokens. We're going to jump into, of course, the other categories, PRC20s, meme coins, and Pulsechain projects. So stay tuned for that. Before we do that, though, let's have a look at the validators. Validators at the moment, 43,296. I think that's pretty close to an all-time high. Not quite, maybe, but we're pretty much close to it. 43,296 validators, amazing. And of course, we've got 1.39 trillion pulse off the market there, about 9.3% of the total supply. In addition to that, of course, we've got EIP 159 burning. We've got the 4,096 validators that have burn about 132 billion Pulse. And then, of course, we've also got liquid loans coming that's going to collateralize Pulse. That's a fundamental importance as well. And, of course, if the big players utilize that feature, then, yeah, it's going to really be a huge bonus for the whole ecosystem. And, of course, you become your own Federal Reserve when you got protocols like Liquidity. You can generate your own stable coins. It really is pretty neat. Welcome to crypto. It's one of the wonders of crypto, right? Power to the people, as we say. Let's have a look at the gas prices. Gas prices 1.1 million. So it's pretty much been stuck around this now. Gone, it seems, are the days of 400,000 to 500,000 beats. And last week we had very high beats, up over 10 million sometimes, around the 4 to 5 million a lot often, but we're back down about 1.1 million beats, which is not too bad. That leaves us a Pulsechain swap at 1 cent, a Pulse coin transfer at 1/10 of a penny, and a PRC20 transfer at 3/10 of a penny. We're still 234 times cheaper than Ethereum. Ethereum, of course, is at the low point these days. In terms of the Gwei, September's typically low. Last year it was low for Gwei. This year's it's low for Gwei. But I think that's going to be short-lived, especially if we have cool things like the ETF there. Yeah, it's still low Gwei at the moment. Let's give a look down here, and I think it will start to head back into the teens in October. And so this period of short-lived, let's go to the 378 days. We can see that we've had particularly low Gwei on Ethereum, and we also had a particularly low in September last year as well. But once we got into October, that started moving back into the teens, occasionally popping below 10 Gwei, but then we started rising up into January, February, right? So we'll probably see something similar, it's my guess, based on everything that's happening at the moment. So if you're going to do something like in staking or anything like that on Ethereum, or do some minting on Zen or something, you want to take the opportunity with the 6 Gwei like this, insane in the membrane. That's about as cheap as chips there right now. So you've got to take that. You see how the long perspective, you've got to take the long perspective. You've got to plan ahead in crypto. You got to accumulate the good stuff. There's a lot of things you got to think about. But of course, here on Hex Token, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain, we talk about it. So that's kind of cool. Right. That is the play there. Let's jump away from that. We're going to talk about the PRC20s. Before we do that, though, let's catch up in the chat and see who else has jumped in here. Do you like green? I thought it was such a fun title as well. And why not put a bull in there as well? Bull on the thumbnail. Let's see who else has jumped in here. We got HH Humberto. I saw that tweet too. Saw some articles to support it as well. Yeah. Well, I was had a huge lineup to talk about that, so we don't want to get front run on that one, especially on this channel. Brennan says 50 EMA showing good support for BTC on the monthly. Yeah, looking good there, and good thing we covered that on the chart too. I pulled that up chart, so nice one there. I think we're reading minds here. Ivor as well. Morning, good to see you, Ivor. Welcome to the chat. Academiciated as well. Hi to you all. Who else has jumped in here? Craig Pitt. Morning, Hex Token. Good to see you, Craig. We got Tintop as well. What's up, Mexicans? Good to see you, Tintop. Yellowtail. Holla, holla, holla. Good to see you, Yellowtail. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, if you guys haven't joined our Discord, the link is in the video description. I'm sure some of the moderators will post the link in the chat there, but you can get to the Discord in the video description. Do join. The community is really amazing. Get in there. Good information, all that good stuff. And there's going to be some cool things coming in the future. So you're going to be a part of that as well. So very important there. Thanks, Lies Beneath. Always dropping the alpha there. Hex Token Discord. You can join it there. So it's got a bit.ly short there just to shorten the link. But otherwise, Hex Token Discord is the one there. All right. Sandy Beach got the woohoos. Yeah, get excited. All right. So that's pretty cool. Let's jump back to the PRC20s. We're going to talk about, we go by liquidity, right? Generally liquidity. These are my custom lists. And of course, we've got a PDI there. PDI there having a little bit of a journey on the way to 1 cent, if you believe it's going to get there. Let's have a look at the daily on this one. That is the daily chart for PDI or DI. It is matched to a Troper on the one that I've got here. I know people want me to talk more about a Troper, but I really don't want to get too deep in the weeds. I'm really trying to focus on the more blue chip protocols on the Pulsechain because I want people to have a bit more higher probability chance of doing well. Speculative stuff's all good. People go and do it your heart's content. But of course, I want people to do well, generally speaking. So that's important. We got the price there is at 001043. And it's been quite a bit of fun here. The structure is still looking pretty reasonable. We've got higher lows in here. But yeah, it's going to a bit of work to do to get to that 1 cent. But it looks like it's still got it. The volumes are definitely tapered off here as well. So we'll keep a match. We're going to keep a watch on this PDI Atropa as well. Let me just go back here. Let me get back into the list here. We got Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear up 4%. Wrap Bitcoin there is at $101. This is not backed by Bitcoin, but it's got a shared narrative, and it's currently holding this line here at 88. So it's doing pretty well. 101 at the moment. What else? Treasury Bill up 13%. So that's actually the one doing pretty well. Treasury Bill versus Teddy Bear there. We had a nice little green day as well. So we're 11 minutes into a new candle here. That's yesterday's candle that we just finished. So yeah, look at the volatility in here though. You gotta be tough in here. Let's say it's still speculative, right? When you got volatility like that, you know what I mean. That is pretty much that. All right, I think that's kind of the highlights. Look by percentage. We're going to ignore the liquidity size of the pools. So the best one is ApeCoin. That's up 15%. Curve there up 15%. Those are kind of the top performers. Link not too bad, 9% there as well. But like I say, they got varying liquidity in there. Very small retail plays in there if you're going to try and make some of those. All right, let's go to the meme coins. This is our third category, and these are middle-sized meme coins here. We're going to look by liquidity. The best performer is Where Did the ETH Go, up 2.28%. Dogecoin there up 6% there, and Ben up 3.8%. So that's BitBoy Ben, the one that keeps on getting himself in so much trouble. That one, and of course, let's have a look by percentage. Yeah, that's pretty much similar listing there for percentage there as well. The big key takeaway, of course, has been continued with 9inch is that when 9inch eventually does launch, that probably SHIB and Pepe will probably do very well because it is a meme DEX, $60 million sacrifice for that project. The other thing, of course, is that the team that did 9inch have got 3 tokens, Pulse Dodge, Where Did ETH Go, and Paul Pleb. They're likely to do very well as well with single-side staking and BBC tokens, as we understand the launch there based on Pulse Hex Bastard's commentary in the lead-up before the launch there about a month ago or so. So it is getting a bit dated, and they have been delayed with the auditing. I'm not sure whether they're delaying further for the Fetch Oracle, but we'll definitely keep tabs on that every day. I get updates, so hopefully I don't miss anything on that. All right, so that's kind of the play at the moment. So those are probably the obvious play if you want to pick up something with a bit of speculative upside. Would be some of these. Once again, not financial advice. Do your own due diligence, but definitely, definitely an opportunity there. They have got bigger liquidity pools in here, relatively speaking. So Paul Pleb, let's have a quick look at some of them. This is Where Did ETH Go, and have a quick look at that. How we do for time? 43 minutes, not bad. So that is Where Did ETH Go, and it's pretty much at the bottom of the range that's been stuck in at the moment. It's currently at 42 cents. We've got the next one is Paul Pleb. Paul Pleb at the moment is kind of in the middle. It's not quite down to where I thought would be a cool. 3,500 is kind of where I think would be quite a nice entry. That's at the top of the sort of bottom range. At the moment, it's at 3,900 with 5 zeros in front of it at the moment. So got 36k liquidity in it, so you can only get so much of a position without pushing the price against you. As soon as you try to do a bit more than $100 or $200, you can start influencing the price there. Pulse Dodge, the third one, which I actually think is kind of the better one because there's not so many holders of Pulse Dodge on the network there. I think it's like 400 or something. It's not many, and of course the price there is at 0044. And of course, if it got down to this 3,000 range or lower, that would be really good entry, relatively speaking. We already had a big pump there, and we're currently at 4,400 with 2 zeros, so not quite half a penny, but almost getting there at the moment. So if it drifted off a little bit more down here, I'd be pretty tempting, right? But I have been talking about it right down here when it was down here. So, people had the opportunities. All right, so that is the memes. Let's go to the fourth category, which is the main one, right? The Pulsechain projects. And, of course, these are the ones that really add utility to varying degrees, depending on what they are. But by liquidity there, we've got them sorted by liquidity, so the bigger the liquidity pool. We've got Spark Swap there, 2 million at the moment. It's matched with Pulse. That's up 10%. So a good day for Spark Swap there. This is kind of an ROI platform, but they have got, from the looks of it, they do have sort of queuing up strategic partnerships. We'll probably try and deep dive into that a bit more. But at the moment, they're at 57 cents here at the moment. Not doing too bad. They do have an end-of-mile solution as well on their ROI platform. Remember, ROI platforms are typically more speculative. That you can earn quite high APRs, but sometimes they often, or more than often, 90% of the time, they often drift down, if not more. And so, the first 2 months, it's sort of over a rover But this one here is continuing on 57 cents at the moment. So we'll be watching that. Algo, of course, matched with Hex is up 2.7%. TRH from the GameFi protocol there is 4.3%. Tetra, of course, which I think is a lot more coming for Tetra in the future, is 7.18%. That is not too bad. PTT is there, Batias. Good news for Batias. That has been included on investdex.io. They've included that on the website now, so that's good news for Batias, getting more wider partnership adoption. That is up 2.77%. Beetroot is at up 4.8%. This is really undervalued, and they've got their big product launches. We covered it yesterday. Their steak and shake. They're going to be able to put Pulse and beetroot on there. That could be quite good, and we did cover that as well. So if you pick that, still pretty cheap, right? Look at that thing. Undervalued in my view. I think Randy Alaski considers undervalued, even more so with the steak and shake coming up. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how the market responds to this. It is our privacy hub protocol, one of two of them at least on Pulsechain. So pretty big deal there. And Pulse Reflections is down 19% there after having quite a lot of good days. Time token for internet money is up 11%, so not bad there as well. Pulse Kitten still performing pretty well, up 15%. So that's by the liquidity. If we look at the percentage gains, we've got Trust Swap up 35%, Burn Token up 18% from TRH, Pulse Kitten's up 15%. They're kind of the leaders there, followed by Spark Swap, which we've talked about already. Vent not doing too bad. The Web3 gaming on Pulsechain, 10%, up 10% there. Plant from TRH up 8%. Pulse LN there, one of our on-ramps to Pulsechain. Bitcoin, BNB, and of course the Pulsechain there is up 7.5%, so not too bad there as well. So some really cool standouts there. Let's have a quick look at Fame, of course. Fame being alive for about, 12 days or so, is currently at 42 cents. And you guess what? People seem to have caught on to the fact that the PHLP is where you make the big returns. Now, you take on more risk, don't get me wrong, because you are the house when you got PHLP, but you get 6% of the fees, and there's not much liquidity relative to the amount of Fame. The market caps are completely different. You got the market caps on Fame. It's indicated here, 16 million. But let's go to the Fame, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm not going to get too much into it, but you can join our Discord for that. Actually, I won't go too much into it, but if you want to join the Discord, you can find out more about that. But we got the Fame here. In fact, we got the position. Yeah, we've been doing this short, right? We did the short when it launched. This long. We did a long position on the margin trading on Famous, and we're actually back at break even pretty much. We're slightly below because of fees, but remember we were out of the money every day until today. We're finally back on green. Look at that, it's green, not red. I was down. I think we were down like 25% at one point. So it's good to be back at pretty much break even, slightly ahead. But yeah. If Pulsechain rallies, then we got a 5x multiplier on this. So it's our $11 became $54. So we're riding a $54 position. But yeah, we have to pay borrowing fees every day, right? So for this thing, just remember we're paying borrowing fees. But yeah, pretty good there. Anyway, let's not get too excited about my $11 trade. But that's our one for the live stream, right? That's the one we're watching to learn about how it works, right? So you guys know it's speculative, right? Margin trading. But you can do the non-speculative part. You can either buy Fame and stake it, well, not non-speculative, but much lower risk in the Fame. And of course, you can provide PLHP. You can provide liquidity, be the house, as it were, where the money is get lent out to the borrowers, right? The people that are margin trading. So you can see at the moment, we've got the PHL pool's got $1.6 million in it. It gets 6% of the fees though, right? It gets 6% of the fees. So it's a really good advantage for them. Pretty cool. Now, if we go to the Earn protocol, the Earn page, so that's the dashboard. We go to the Earn page. You can see some of the numbers here. So we've got the total supply of Fame is at $24 million. We got the total staked is at $12 million. That's the one we care about, right? So $12 million, they're getting 40% of the fees. But of course, the PLHP is only $1.6 million. They're getting 60% of the fees. So which one's going to do better for the APR? You got it, the PHLP by quite a bit, right? So that's actually pretty good. But of course, you are the house and your capital does go at risk. But I would suggest that, if we look at the stats, it's probably going to end up in your favor pretty well because we see that people making profits and losses on the aggregated line here is 29,000 loss, 25,000 profit. So it's neither here nor there, I don't think, over time in terms of, what capital is being taken out of the system for people who are putting PRHLP in there. And the fees have been, pretty nicely there. What's that, 37,000 total fees. But of course, let me just go back to the other page. The fees, what's the daily fees on here? I'm pretty sure it's on this page. It's on the dashboard. Fees at the moment running for 24 hours are $3,865. So 40% to the stakers and 60% to the PHLP plus some of the profits from trading. That's looking pretty good. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out. We could see a lot more users as well. We've got 417 users in here. That's a key metric I'll be looking for, particularly the trends in all these charts. Obviously a trend that's going up generally or staying at least stable is pretty important. Obviously, we're just early into it, so you probably want the trends to go up and away. The other cool thing is we're at 1.13 million in open interest. Open interest is the short positions. That means you're betting that the price will go down, and the long positions, you're betting the price will go up. The combined of those short and long positions is currently at 1.129 million, which is pretty good. And the trade volume almost about to hit 9 million. What's that, about 12 days? It's pretty crazy. So some cool stuff happening there on that. But if you want to talk more about that, join our Discord, get involved. I don't mind talking about that. All right, let's go. That is pretty much it on Famous, 43 cents. So we're going to be interesting to see how that gets valued. Obviously, we're in bearish conditions still, even though we've got green day. We have still got to take that into account. So that's pretty much there on the Pulsechain. We'll actually pull up the stable coins as well. This is our Coast one. Obviously, we've got Coast at the moment. This is our native stable coin. It is fiat backed. And of course, we're expecting to have USDL and PXDC. So we're going to have a whole ton of different trading pairs, all for these big stable coins. So it's going to be really exciting to see. And of course, the Coast there at the moment is we've got $84,000 liquidity, but it is sitting at pegged amount at $1, which is beautiful to see this on Pulsex. But of course, on PHUX, if we go to the balancer fork on Pulsechain, the liquidity is really growing quite nicely, which is kind of cool. So let's quickly look at this. Waiting for that to render. What's the TVL for PX at the moment? So this is the most valuable protocol outside of Pulsex at the moment, $29.6 million in there, and almost heading towards 200 million trading volume. Pretty amazing. So super successful is PX on Pulsechain. And of course, what would you think about in terms of indexing? If you were really keen on the PH universe, you could consider some of these index pools in here, right? And have a risk management inside those, one of these pools. Like Pareto, for example, is Fame and Pulse. You could do that, or you could go for the PHL, which I just showed you is pretty profitable, right? And you could benchmark in that. So this we're going to call it Porgy. I'm going to call it Porgy because we're a family channel. But they got 50% PHLP, 30% Fame, 10% PX, and 10% Fiat. So let's think about what they're forked there. Fame PHL is of course the famous, which is a fork of GMX. So you're talking about margin trading. PHUX there is a fork of Balancer. You're talking about these liquidity pools and indexing and stable coins. And then a PHUX, of course, is a fork of Aave. So you're basically a bank. It does have other offerings in the sense you could do flash loans and things like that. So that is the combination there, kind of like an index. And of course, it's weighted at different weightings, as we said. But most of it's weighted to the riskier side, which is kind of cool. But that's the higher earnings on that side, right? Higher earnings. And you can see 55 to 123%. And I think this could probably be sustained pretty well. We're going to be watching that, but maybe one of more higher APR, sustained APRs that we see in the future, especially when we've got market prices down where we are at the moment. So pretty interesting looking index there. So these are some of the little tidbits here that you can think about in terms of passive income, if that's what you're chasing down as well. Now, obviously, there's some issues around, when you provide PHLP directly, issues around impairment loss and things like that. But apart from that, if asset prices are pretty cheap and expecting them all go up, then that could be huge capital gains as well as the APR for the income side of things. Now, what I want to look at was the stable coins though, so let's not get distracted. So you've got 2.7, almost $2.8 million in stables between the USDC pairing with Coast there. So we've had over $1 million of Coast come on, but of course, when you match it with some other USDC, you can get quite nice pools there. And of course, on PHUX, a fork of Balancer, you don't have to have 50-50. You can do any percentage of those two that you want, any weightings that you like for those at the moment. So it's kind of cool. Let's have a look into that pool and quickly see what the breakdown is. Yeah, we've got 890,000 CST in there. So most of it's sitting on PHUX as opposed to Pulsex. And we've got almost 1.9 million US dollars in there, USDC in there as well in this particular pool, which is pretty interesting. And the APR, look at that, 20 to 50, 52%. Pretty mad, crazy for the stable pool. So kind of nice there. Some good options. All right, so that's looking really good on the old Pulse. Oh, this are the markets. But we're going to get into the news. We do have one news update, and that is NFT on Pulse, one of the 4 NFT marketplaces live at the moment. We're expecting at least 7 big protocols in the marketplace space. Obviously, Minch is still to come. Pixel Park from Power City is still to come. And I just forgotten the last one, but it'll come to me on another live stream. We got news flash there. NFT on Pulse is about to drop some big news. So this is big news. Hold tight for the upcoming announcement. So it's really an announcement, but hey, it is news so that you guys are aware of it early, right? You want to get the info early. That's the key, right? In crypto, get early on everything. Bonus, except for smart contracts, you need to test first. Don't forget that's one operational issue that you always have to test. Bonus, we're finally unveiling the HTP tokenomics. Woohoo! So if you guys sacrifice for the HTP, this is going to be good news for you. Tokenomics for all to explore very soon. So this is going to be really fun, and I wish you all well. I know that some people of you in the chat that have participated in the NFT on Pulse. And of course, NFT on Pulse is from the How to Pulse team. And as you guys know, that Walrus, who now is the growth manager for Liquid Loans, used to be the front man for How to Pulse. And they've done probably the biggest educational role out there in terms of a website-based education for Pulsechain. So they're pretty awesome like that. So yeah, never underestimate the How to Pulse team. Coming very soon, exciting news coming soon. So have they got something secret there, something new that we haven't seen before? Obviously, crypto does offer that, and if somebody brings up some idea that's kind of innovative, and so we'll be watching out for that. So kind of cool there. Newsflash NFT about to drop some big news. So hope you guys enjoy that. So that's pretty neat. I'm gonna give you the link for that if you want to go and ask them any questions, especially if you've sacrificed for it. And obviously, people will be looking to buy that on market, no doubt, especially if the tokenomics are pretty sweet. So we'll see what it's like. All right, not financial advice, all that good stuff, as we say. We're 58 minutes on the hour. So that is where we are at the moment. Even Pulse Punk's in there. Excited for the progress in Newsbomb. Looking forward to learning what the future holds. We're all in this together. Says NFT on Pulse. The Pulse team never fails to surprise us. Always fun to watch them outdo themselves. We try our best. So some nice comments in there as well. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty cool to see that. I'm just trying to see whether they had any interesting alpha there. So that is pretty much the update today. And I do have a whole list of projects that I get, the news feed from. And so that's why I can, synthesize it for you guys, so you don't have to, you don't have to worry too much there as well. I do note that Internet Money had a little bit of it's quite a big code update. So you've probably seen that out there. They've updated a lot of things with their version refresh. That's probably about the only thing out there, but it's a huge list of things. So we're not going to go through that. That brings us up to the final topic, and we love to get paid. As Brazilji knows, Superman loves the Hex Daily payout more than anybody, including for said person. For said person. We've got Hex.com, folks. Check it out. The ultimate mining CD or certificate deposit, supercharged by Richard Hart, the famous dude. And of course, we're going to talk about that now. We're going to get paid if you got T-shares in your mining. It's day 1397. So we got day 1396. Hold off the press there. The 28th of September, Hex on Ethereum. This is the Hex on Ethereum. We're at 3400th of a penny at the moment. We're up 7.6%. Yeah, we'll take that, especially after being down 6.6% yesterday. The payout at the moment, 6.629 Hex per T-share. The share rate is got no change there. So the share rate reflects really compound interest. I mean, it really stops people from short people doing their mining periods, outdoing people with longer mining periods. So that's expected to jump dramatically on the 22nd of November later this year. So 1400 Hex per T-share that day. So remember, earlier pays better. Get your Hex T-shares earlier than later, especially before the 22nd of November. Which is coming up on us pretty fast, right? So it's what, 50 days or so away, 55 days. We've got average mining length, 7.07 years on the Ethereum side, 39% APY for existing T-share miners. Let's have a look at the change in T-shares. We're down, up 3,789 we're sitting just below 9.8 million T-shares in the ownership pool. So Hex is really easy to understand. If you're going to explain it, there's a reward pool, and then there's an ownership pool. The owners get the reward pool every single day. It gets calculated, and of course, we've got the when you end your stake, when you end your mining T-share, it gets calculated. When you've got your gets calculated every day, but you get it at the end of the time. But at the end of the day, you got your T-shares in the ownership pool, and of course that's gone up today by 3,789 on the old Ethereum side. So important there. All right, let's jump over to the lock percentage of coins. 9.34% of the coins are locked, and we've got penalties there, pretty low penalties. So people are keeping their responsibilities. The last 5 days has actually been pretty good. Look at that on Ethereum there. No one really doing a lot of penalties there. We had quite a few days in a row with high penalties, but the last 5 days have been pretty low. We've got 65 million in the reward pool. So that reward pool I was talking about, that is the payout tab there. So that payout there is going to the T-share owners that we talked about. All right, so the current liquid holders up 12, so that's good news there. Miners are 0, no change. And we've got 120,029 miners at the moment on the Ethereum side. Let's go to the Pulsechain side. So Hex on a Pulsechain, you can also buy Hex, burn it for T-shares, and start mining Hex on Pulsechain. And of course, that's got a higher price and cheaper to do that on Pulsechain. So day 139 is the results, 28th of September. The price is at 83/100th of a penny. And we got the price there up 4.3%. So not quite as good as the ETH side, but not bad as well. Payout per T-share is 6.594. And I do really, really love that. I really do. We've got the share rate there at 29,524. The average mine length is shorter than on the Ethereum side, 6.95 years. The APY is 38.19% as well. I think that's slightly lower as too. Let's look at the ownership pool. T-shares, there's an increase of 387 T-shares in the pool. We're sitting at 9,847,000. So that's about 48,000 more T-shares on the Pulsechain side than there is on the Ethereum side for Hex. Let's jump over to the percentage of coins. 9.54% of Hex is locked on the Pulsechain side. Modest penalties on Pulsechain too. So people keeping their responsibilities. We've got just under 65 million Hex in the reward pool as well. Let's look at the growth numbers. 47 liquid holders. We're actually down 2 miners today. We're at 124,202 miners. So around about 4,000 more miners on the old Pulsechain side. So those are the results for today. Once again, check out hex.com. And of course, you can buy Hex on either Ethereum or Pulsechain. Pulsechain obviously has a higher price, but it's cheaper to do mining and things like that. And of course, check it out, hex.com. If you've got any questions, join our Discord. We have a crypto helpline in the Discord. I think it's pretty unique to have that, and with the community moderators and everybody helps out with helping people with those answers, which is pretty cool. Right, let's jump over to that's it. I think that's it. Yeah, hex.com. Let's finish there. That's pretty poetic. Richard Hart has put out a tweet today, by the way. Let's just cover that quickly. It's a very long tweet, so I don't want to go into the details. But Richard Hart has posted a tweet out today. So this one here. What does doing your own research look like? Ask AI stuff for an instant simple experiment. So he's done some stuff with AI here. You can see it's a pretty long tweet, but that Richard has been posting more often lately as well, which is kind of cool. So you can check that out. Look at that. That's huge. That's huge. All right. So wow. That's a massive. All right. So there's a couple of ones there as well. You can check that out on Richard Hart Richard Hart win on X social platform. All right, let's get into the final mix there. We're up to an hour and 4 minutes. I've got to go my walk today. I must do my walk today. Make sure I go. I missed yesterday for good reasons, but I've got to make sure I get out there and do that. Let's see who else has jumped in here. We've got up to Yellowtail, that's for sure. Hello, good to see it, Yellowtail. We got Briz there, goes holla. Yeah. Yellowtail says bull market coming, get ready, says Yellowtail. I like that. Adam says I love Tias, it's an invaluable tool. Yeah, really good DEX there, DEX aggregator. So really good. Briz in the house, he is indeed, or at least he was before. Who else is here? Big Owner, good to see Big Owner. What else there? Got a couple others. We've got Bob Wells in the house there. Hello, everybody. We've got Bar Nero in there. I'm not sure what you're typing in there, though. We got Hex Meredith as well. Hey, everybody. Good to see Hex Meredith. Welcome to the chat. Big Kahuna there with the hidey highs. Joe Torres, welcome Joey. Good to see you as well. Who else has jumped in there? Oh yeah, Briz is still here. Yeah, Briz is still there. Look, there's Briz. All right, I think we're gonna wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. Do you like green? I'm pretty sure I should have put a poll up about that, right? I'm pretty sure everyone likes green. Stock market up green, crypto green, Pulsechain green. It's a green day, folks. We've got mostly green news coming. The only thing in the downside at the moment is is the potential government lockdown. But apart from that, if Jerome Powell gives us a less hawkish outlook, then that's going to be bullish as well. We'll add that to the bullish list. I think that's pretty much the way we go. Someone in the comments says this pair has been brutal. I'm not sold a single hex yet though. Praying for the bull. Nice one there. Well done. And you're still, if you're mining, you're earning hex to compensate you to some degree as well. Hodl, says Brennan. Absolutely. All right. Let's play out some music on the way out. Music is fun. And let's hear it from Richard Hart himself, because he knows how to rap apparently. So we'll pull that up there. All right. Take care, everybody. Peace out. Enjoy your day. See you in Discord. Bye for now. Take care.
My $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.